Hello everyone. Is my sound coming? Type yes if the sound is coming. Hello. Type yes if the sound is coming. Hello. Type yes if the sound is coming. Hello. Type yes if the sound is coming. Yeah, so we will be starting with the seminar. Good morning, everyone. Hello, everyone. I welcome you to the second seminar of the Water Initiative by Aman. I am Aman Khandelwal. I am a researcher at Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, and I'm currently working with the UCROI Water Security Hub London project. I have started this water initiative by Aman, in which I will be taking the education of water resource and management out in the world. As this webinar is on YouTube, so everyone can watch this webinar afterwards also, and your questions will be all the questions will be answered. I request everyone to just stick to the chat and post your questions, and I will be checking all your questions, and we will be answering all your questions. So in the survey, I have asked that if anyone wants to cover any topic or anything. So all the topics that were asked to talk about water security or water scarcity are going to be covered. So this webinar is Solution for Water Scarcity. It is a global concern, and today we will be answering and knowing about all the possible things going and happening in the world about water scarcity, and what all is if the world is doing to deal the water scarcity in the world. So I welcome you all, and let's start the webinar. Answering and knowing about all the possible water scarcity. If we talk about water scarcity, that what is water scarcity and how to deal with it. So I will be just telling you about brief what is water scarcity. Water everyone knows, and scarcity means something that is not in enough quantity. So what is water scarcity? Water scarcity means insufficient fresh water resources available in a particular region. So we can never say that whole of India is a water scarce or is under water stress, or whole of Africa is under water scarce. No, we can never say that, because water scarcity is applicable on region to region basis, because it's possible that some region is having water scarcity and some region is not having water scarcity of the same country or of the same city, because the groundwater depletion happens and the fresh water resources get scarce it depends on the region and the population, that how much water they are using and how much stress they are giving on that particular region. So it completely depends on that particular region. So water scarcity is directly linked to human rights. When I'm talking about human rights, why I'm saying human rights? Because it is the sole responsibility and it is the sole right to a human to get water. When I talk about water, you cannot say that he is not having the right to get water, or he is belong to that region, or that stereotypical thinking that this region has this amount of enough water, or no. Water is for all. Water, the rights for water is for everyone. So when I talk that uh, as water scarcity is happening, it is giving the challenges to population growth, to profiliate use, changes in weather pattern due to global warming. Everything is happening, and it is causing water scarcity. We can never say that it is just because of humans. It is just because of the use of humans. No, it is never like that, because it depends on how the weather is changing, how we are using it, how there is climatic change, how the population growth is increasing. You cannot control the population growth, you can decrease it. You can always, the ratio or the percentage at which the population is increasing, we can always have a control on that, that we can, like China, but we can never decrease it, because every day people are coming, childs are born, people are born, humans are born, and every day they die. But always there will be population increase, there will be always population increase. But we have to see that what we are doing to save water, because water will not increase day by day. On the daily basis, on the minute basis, water is not increasing, water is decreasing. Water is not a renewable resource until now, because every problem has a solution, and water scarcity is a problem. And how do we have to deal with it? Let's look. Now, many countries and major cities in the worldwide, both uh, wealthy and poor countries. If I talk about India, we cannot say it is a very poor country, but yeah, we count it as a poor country. And when we talk about Netherlands, we cannot say it as a poor country. It's a wealthy country. When we talk about US, when we talk about UK, when we are talking about these big countries, these are very wealthy countries. But when we see and when we look, that actually are they getting that enough water? No, they are also facing water scarcity, because humans are there. The money doesn't help to grow water or to increase the water table, because water scarcity does not make you poor or wealthy, and does not clarify that this country is poor, that's why it has water scarcity. No, all of the world has water scarcity. Now, in 21st century, we are facing a lot of water scarcity, and water scarcity is typically divided into two parts. That is physical water scarcity and economical water scarcity. So when I say physical water scarcity, it in simple layman's language, I will just describe that more than 75% is used or isn't being used, river waters, groundwater table. So then we say that we are facing physical water scarcity. But I would clarify that it doesn't mean that dry areas are not necessarily water scarce. If we say this is a dry area, that doesn't mean that it has a water scarcity. This point is to be taken into note, that if I am talking about Rajasthan, a desertic, dry area, dry place. If I talk about Egypt, a dry place. But if we say that because it's dry, it is facing a water scarcity, no. Dry area doesn't mean that it is a water scarce place. Now, if I talk about economic water scarcity, economic water scarcity is when a government, when people are not able to make the water accessible. Like we have water, We have plentiful of water to cater the uh, population, but actually we don't have when we don't have uh, just a minute. Yeah. So when water is abundant, when we can say that water is not accessible uh, to people, but it is abundant. So that's a fail from the side of government. That's a fail from the side of water sector. That there is relative amount of water, but the water use is less than 25%, because it has a economic water scarcity. Then it has a economic water scarcity. So there are two types of water scarcity: either it's economic water scarcity, or either it's physical water scarcity. But unfortunately in India, we are having economic as well as physical water scarcity. Now, as you can see the map which is coming on the screen, it tells you about water withdrawal. Water withdrawal is a percentage of total available water in 1995 and in 2025. Now, just have a look on this, that it totally depicts how the particular regions are managing water. Obviously, after 1995 to 2025, 30 years, migration took place, globalization is taking place, and everything happened. But the places where, like India or South Asia, the places where we have already in 1995 used more than 40% or from 40% to 20% of water, then also we never started that how to start water management, how to look after water scarcity. Are we able to do correct thing about that or not? We never looked at that. So if you can see the North America and South America data, if they have used less than 10%, they have used less than 10% because of the measures they have taken. Because all the uh, what the measures they have taken shows this graph, that how over the time India has used from 40 to 20% to direct more than 40%, and other countries have not even used less than 10%. So this example, this graph totally depicts how water scarcity is plaguing all over the world. If you see Australia, it has used less than 10%, or it will be using less than 10%, because they are managing water in a great way. They are looking forward to what is water scarcity and how to deal with it. And it comes with the education, it comes with the people, that how we are able to deal with it. It comes with many, many things. So I would like that everyone present in the webinar to keep posting questions and be interactive with the audience. And in the chat box, you can type as many questions or as many queries you want. And I will be answering all your questions and everything that how to deal with it. And I will be answering all the questions and topics that was asked in the feedback, that I should discuss that topic in the further webinar. Now we will be talking about different countries in the world, that how they have managed and what happened at their part with the water and everything. That, that how they have managed and how they have looked forward. So this first example is Brazil. So in 2016, the water crisis was declared in Brazil. In Brazil, Sao Paulo state. So when we talk about Sao Paulo state, it was water crisis because there was less than 4% capacity left for the people there. Less than 4% capacity. Now, if you imagine that less than 4% capacity for such a huge state, is very less. Only 4% water was left to cater the needs of 100% population of Sao Paulo state. So as you can see this graph, that you will see that there is very less extremely high like urban water stress. And with the fact I would tell you that Brazil has 20% of the world's water. Yeah, Brazil has 20% of world's water. Now you will think that Brazil has 20% of world's water, and in 2016 they faced a water crisis in one of the state. So this is a very vast and a big topic, but I will explain it in brief. That Sao Paulo state faced this urban water stress because of lack of water management, because of lack of awareness, because Brazil had the water enough water to cater the needs, and they have more than enough water. But because water scarcity is not divided in whole of the region, and it is not uh, it is not spread it equally, or it is not spread it like the whole of the Brazil was facing a water stress or water issue. No, but the one state went into water crisis. There were literally fights for water. Everyone was damn scared that how we are going to tackle this situation. But what happened then? This is not the end, because when the problem comes we need the solution. But like we don't face what Brazil is facing. Today I am here to tell you that what they have done and what we can do in our country, anywhere in the world we are, in our city or in our district or town, anywhere we are, that we can do the measures now if we don't want to be in that position that we will be having water. Maybe if I will say that maybe Delhi will be having water, maybe Patna, maybe Rajasthan, maybe Kanpur, maybe some cities, maybe some states will be having water, but maybe your state will not having water, you will be in water crisis. Then what will happen? So to avoid this situation, what they have done, they form a recovery association, and that was Sao Paulo Water Recovery. So what they have done, that in that recovery situation, they have looked upon all the losses that were happening, all the water losses that were happening, all the things that they were going wrong. They went there, they look into the direct problem. And every year from 20, when the organization was formed, when the recovery organization was formed, they saved 47 million cubic of water. Can you imagine that they saved 47 million cubic meters of water per year? It was recovered, and it was they were you know they were they were able to cater the needs of the population. So you can see this graph that water supply variability in Brazil. So if the season is there, there will be a water supply, and as the season changes, as there is extreme uh, summers, there will be a depletion, or there will be a water stress. So droughts are seasonal, variable. You cannot say that it's a very dry region. They have water, but they lack the management. They were not able to cater the needs when they need the most. And that's the big problem. But when the problem arises, they find the solution. So this is how we have to change our way of thinking, because what we think, what if I talk about Indians, or if I talk about Asian peoples, we are in a dilemma always, that are we in a problem situation or are we not? Because when we are in a problematic situation, we focus on dealing the things. But why to get to that problematic situation? We have to tackle the situation today, today in this time. Now, if we talk about India, Bangalore or a Bangalore. So Bangalore last year, last to last year, It was declared that the water crisis is going to hit this city at a greater next level. Why? Bangalore is not tech hub, was not tech hub from the starting. It was never like, if I say that for past 20 years it was tech hub, no. If I say that past 30 years it was a tech hub, no. It was very recent. It was a tech hub. All the companies went there. There was a massive expansion of property development. New things were settling. People were migrating there. So Bangalore was not able to handle what was coming, and it is facing water crisis because they is a major problem there. Because now, if I talk about in terms of Bangalore, it's a typical problem of groundwater water usage by the people. Because if you see that they have numerous wells or pumping wells, they have numerous pumping station where people can go and people can have water, or people can take, or they take the water in their buckets or cans or everything. But what they lack is management. There was immense uh, losses due to that pumping station, because when we are pumping and when we are using taps, there is always chance of water losses, because when we take water, the water fills. When the water is coming, it fills. When the tap is open left, it fills. So that was a huge problem, and everyone was using it, because the population, everyone is not a part of tech hub, or everyone is not educated about what they are doing. No, everyone is not educated, and everyone is not everyone is not literate about what's the crisis they are going to face. The people were migrating, and people didn't know what Bangalore has in their table or under the table. What we say. So the people were living a normal life. The residents there, the people who were living from past 20, 30, 40, or 50 years, and they didn't know that they had to control and manage their water system. The the development authority there in Bangalore, they didn't know. They didn't get to know, or they didn't understand that how they are going to deal with that situation. So they face that crisis, and you can see a reduction in groundwater level. That how everything changed. That in 1970 situations, in 1980, as the globalization increased, and as it has become the massive tech hub of India, and expensive and expansion happened in a next level state. So you can see that from 100 feet groundwater, it came to 2000 feet. This was the reduction in groundwater levels in Bangalore, and everyone knows about Bangalore. Everyone knows. So this was the situation that they have suffered, and now the companies, the industries, the globalization cannot go in reverse. No, what we can do is to change how we were dealing the situation. Now we have to change. Now we have to stop that. And the government, they put the you know they put the law that you cannot use this more than this amount of water, or you cannot draw this amount of water, because they don't have anything left for them. They need to take the action now, or it's never. Now if I talk about China, now in this time everyone is talking about China, that China is a superpower, was a superpower, and how they deal with situation. And the way China deals with the situation is quite interesting, because when we see that China doesn't deals with the situation in that smart way, that it can happen, or that's happening in the other part of the world. China is also just like how we are doing. China is also just like Asian peoples. China is just a part of this massive struggle. It is not different. No, it's not different. It's not any other person, any other country, any other. We cannot say that they are doing. a massive expansion or massive growth in terms of their resources. No, because China has the 20% of world's population, and they just had 7% of world's fresh water. Now you can imagine a country with 20% of world's population, in billions and millions, and everyone knows the number. And they are just using 7%, just 7% of world's fresh water they can use. And you would be shocked to know that in just 9 years, in 2000 to 2009, in just 9 years, 13% of water depleted in from that 7%. Then you can see that the China's water crisis will be very immense because a small region, more population, and more water stress. So China faced the extreme risk of water shortage, and you can see the graph that the four major Chinese provinces were like under the threat, like it was extreme risk. So what they have done, what they were about to do, that's the thing that everyone wants to learn. I will show you the data that this is a world that average water resource per capita of world is 8,000 meter cube, and Beijing, Shanghai, Tianjin average water resource per capita was 114 meter cube, that is 1.43% of world average. Now, if we see that a country like China, who has everything, they have technology, they have immense power, they have labor, and they have everything, then why they are suffering from this water crisis? Because in the starting only I have said that water crisis is not divided between regions and people. It will come, and it will come eventually to everyone. But we have to deal with it, and we have to learn that how we are going to tackle that situation. Now, next is Egypt. Everyone knows about Egypt. It's a great civilization. It's the greatest civilization in the world. If we talk about civil of the Cairo, Egypt, everyone knows about Cairo. Everyone knows about Egypt. That it was the first or the greatest civilization that take place. And the fact is that 90% or 95% of water is provided by River Nile in Egypt. River Nile is the longest river in the world. But what happened there? They had the water, they had everything, but because of the pollutants, because of the uh, n- no filtration there, because all the industries were you and the domestic waste and everything was just going in Nile. So the water gets polluted, the water gets toxic. So how you do drink toxic water? How you clean whole of the river? No, it's not possible. As you can see, that per capita water share in 1960 was 2,800 cubic meters in Egypt. But now, as you see the data, it's just 660 cubic meters in 2013, and now it's been 7 years for that data. So now you can imagine that by this time or by 2025, water supply would clog, and it has crossed the water poverty mark. It has crossed that thing because of poor water management, because of climate change, and because of existing water scarcity. What we are having in the starting, I showed you the map that how existing water scarcity affects everyone. Because if we had the water scarcity or we are approaching toward water scarcity, we have already used about 20 to 40% of resources, then it's time that we take the action. We completely take the action and we stick to what is water management, and we deal with it. We make the education possible of water management. We start the organizations, private and government. We start everyone to just work on water resources, and these countries didn't look. Now, if I'm talking about countries or talking about Egypt, why to leave India? And I have talked about Bangalore, which is a south city, or because it's come in south state. But when we talk about North India, that depletion of groundwater is a concern because 60% agriculture is dependent on it. 60% agriculture is dependent on it, and the population is increasing like nothing, like light, like speed. There is a speed in population growth. You cannot control that. You can just control the use of water resources, and we can just control that how the water will be used in the coming time. As you can see, the average per capita water ability from 2001, from 1816, it came to 1340 as projected. So this data is real, but are we doing anything, or are we going to do anything, is the big question that we need to ask to the government, to us, to everyone, or to the people we are living with, to the people we are going to live with. That are this unreal, that no one is able to see this data or no one is understanding this data. Now this graph is tell you groundwater abstraction ratio. So this graph is divided into between three uh, eras or years, we say 2000, 2025, and 2050. I want to show you this data because this data shows you a near future and a very big future, because we have been in 2000, we will be in 2025, but our next generation will be in 2050. And if we see that most of the country, or maybe like more than 75% of the country, will be water scarce, will be under extreme water stress, because there will be no groundwater. What we will drink? The rivers are already deteriorated or already depleted. Now it's groundwater left for few areas, but it will be also gone. So this is a very, very big thing that we need to look upon. And you know what I was telling you, this is just the inverse of it. That was a groundwater abstraction ratio. This is a depletion fraction. And you can see that how this is going to happen, how this is going to affect the whole north, how this is going to affect the south also. But there are cities, there are states in our country as well, those who are working day and night for the water scarcity, to making the water secure. So this is not the impossible task. This is the thing that we need to start now. Now, I would just be summing up all these points, and then I will be going on another point. That I have told you about many countries and many cities. There are Jakarta, Indonesia. The threat is rising. The rising sea level is a threat to them. 40% Jakarta is below sea level now. So there are Moscow, Russia, Istanbul, Tokyo, Mexico, Cape Town. These are just few cities out of many. These are few countries out of many. Many cities or many countries in the world. Those who are facing water scarcity, or those who are going to face water scarcity. And this is not the end. I will say that 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 cities or countries in the world may face water scarcity, but there are many countries. There are still 118 countries who don't have water scarcity, who are not in that condition. Maybe they will be in that condition after 10 years, after 5 years, after 20 years, but not now. So we are the one who are in problem, not the world. So we need to do that to save us and today. Now, and we have to work towards ensuring availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. This is a goal by United Nations, and this has to be looked forward, because these are not just the numbers or games of number. These are the life the people are working for and the world is working for. The water resources is very important. So now I will tell you about about different countries where which we talked about in the earlier side, what they are doing to fight the water scarcity. So when first I will be talking about China, what they are doing. China started south China started a south north water project. Now what is south north water project? What they started, they shifted the water that was not available in the north China from south of China. They took the water from the south of China to north of China because the availability of the water was there in that part. So what they did, that in the south north water transfer project, they just divert the fraction of water that was available in south to the north. And it was a multi-decade infrastructure mega project in China, and it aimed channel 44.8 billion cubic meter of fresh water annually from the Yangtze River in southern China. And it took the water to the more arid and industrialization that took place in north through three canal system. As everyone, I think you have heard about the eastern route that was followed Grand Canal, the Beijing and Tianjin. So they started this project, South North Water Transfer Project, and they did what they could do. They have changed the water scenario in China, although the researchers and the water professionals say that this is not safe as it will disturb the ecological cycle. But we are not talking about how we are dealing the situation wrong or bad. We are saying that how they dealt with the solution, because there is a solution for every problem. If there is water scarcity, there is a solution. We just have to look forward to it. So this is a very big example if I talk about. Now if I talk in Taiwan, China, the waterless dyeing technology start. What is waterless dyeing technology? That instead of water, they were dyeing the clothes with CO2. And this, and the case study shows that clean water savings of like around 8.25 million cubic meter water was saved. And it's a huge number when we talk about 8.25 million cubic meter. So China is working, although their routes and everything is very straight and very hard. That if they had to do that, they will ban it. They will completely ban it. But it's if it's that possible that we can start now when we are not in actual crisis, then it's better. Why to implement things in a rush? We can deal with it now. We can start the projects now. There's always the solution if we want to work. In England, when we talk about United Kingdom, and in England, what they have done to save their water crisis, or what they were, because there was the population was expanding, there will be potential impact of climate change, and that could worsen the condition of water stress. So what they did, that they have installed 5 lakh intelligent meters, and it was a 5-year project to install them. It's not a one day project. They installed 5 lakh intelligent water meters, just like if we see the example of Delhi. Everyone says that why the CM Arvind Kejriwal is providing free water, free electricity to everyone, because what he has done, that he has installed the water meters. And although the project costs more, although he is providing free resources, but he has managed to scale down the use. Now, how he has managed to scale down the use? Because there is leakage reduction, there is reduced losses when we are metered, when we are allowed to use this much amount of free water, then people in- ensure water management, they ensure less water losses. So although it's free, but it's for the benefit of people, because when there are water meter, we can account at how much water is we are losing, or how much there is water loss, and how much people are using unnecessarily. So people start saving water, people start saving electricity. because after one point, after 200 units, we were charged more. So people start managing that we have to come in that bracket. That's why that program was started. That's what not it started because of people's vote or something. That has a very big meaning. When we install meters, we are able to account that what losses we are having, and it's a very good project that was started. Indeed. Now, if you talk about Egypt, what they have done, they have started institutional reforms for irrigation management. Irrigation is a very big thing in all over the world. So they have, with the government and with the private use, they have made reforms and accountability. They have given the training and education to farmers for water management. Are we giving it? Our North India is giving that to the farmers. We are giving of using pesticides. We are giving of many things. We are giving how to take loans. But are we telling that in the future they will be taking the loans for water, and they had to need to manage the water now? But these are the solutions of the world. If I talk to you about Mexico, Mexico faced very high water stress, but they started integrated irrigation modernization project, and it was like 700 million public and private modernization project that began in 30 states in Mexico, and it changed their irrigation infrastructure. They have changed their productivity of water, and they have changed whole scenario because they knew that this is the time that we need to start the change. We need to look forward for a change. So I will conclude that it's not about that there is no doubt that water scarcity is a global issue. It requires the cooperation of governments, it requires the corporations, scientists, organizations, and citizens worldwide. But it's not impossible to change that thing. There is a solution for all. We just need to take the effort of multiple agencies. One person has asked me that is it beneficial to that if the water management goes completely to private, or it should be with government. So there are many things, and I would like to discuss this topic in large level, that there has to be a significant use of fresh water recycling technologies, as well as there should be policies to reduce consumption, because there will be drought conditions, there will be always dry areas, there will be floods, but we need to learn that how to grow with it. I would like to play one video, and then I will start and jump to the next topic. And I would love that everyone start posting their questions and queries that I can answer afterwards. So this is a very short video, and then I will speak on the further solutions of water scarcity. Yeah, so this video sums the water scarcity situation around the world, and this explains what I was trying to explain, that how the situation and how everything is changing. Now we come to direct solutions, that what solutions we need for the sustainable, like for the water scarcity, the main topic of the webinar. So, my first solution is sustainable water management. Now, what is sustainable water management? So, it is in simple language improving water infrastructure. It must be our priority because as water conservation and efficiency are key components of sustainable water management. There should be solar desalination, there should be smart irrigation systems, and these are the great examples of clean technology for water efficiency and control. It obviously applies even more to the agriculture and farming sector, because if we talk that agriculture and farming sector are the largest consumers of water. One one participant has asked that how we can use and what we can do of the saline water, of the seawater. There are technologies. In on my channel, there is a five-phase initiative video in which I have told that how we can start that five phase, in which there is solar desalination also comes, that we can install the mobile vehicles that are in the market in the coastal areas, and we can convert the seawater into drinking water. And that's a very, it's a good initiative to start, but we need resources, we need people to take initiative. And I am willing to take that initiative. I am very happy to take that initiative and work on that issue. So there are many things that can help the irrigation systems, the water management, and there are many ideas, and there are more ideas to come. And I need people to take that initiative. I will be very happy that if you share your opinions and your ideas about sustainable water management, and we can look forward to it. We can work with the professors, we can work with the scientists, we can work with the students. Why not? But we had to achieve this one day. So, if I sum up, the sustainable water management comprises of these three things, that is, limit water consumption, maximize the use of sustainable water sources, and cost effective water infrastructure. If we install any water infrastructure that costs the water to go in thousands or in hundreds, then what is the use of having a water infrastructure? What is the use of sustainable water management? There is no such use. We need to maximize the use of sustainable water resources. What is sustainable water sources? Is using rainwater, is using uh, rainwater, because it's a very potential for water management, but it's a very big thing to start with and to deal with it, because this thing needs to be tackled in today's world where all the construction had already happened. And how to build this environment, how to build the use of sustainable water sources in today's already developed cities or already developed places is a big challenge. So, by comprising that, how integrated water cycle management happens, that wastewater, potable water, and stormwater, when we use all this, then we get the sustainable water management environment, that the recycled gray water should be used and should be maximized, and it is being using in many great in big countries. If we talk about Netherlands, if we talk about UK, if we talk about US, there are many countries, there are many big countries, many big places where the wastewater is being treated and recycled water is being used. Stormwater, there should be quality improvement there, there should be stormwater reuse, there should be rainwater reuse, and there should be reduced sewer overflows, because when the sewer overflows, the water gets wasted. Water, when it's on the street, you cannot take the water from the roads, you cannot collect the water from the roads. So that thing need to be managed. Second point is reclaimed water. What is reclaimed water? This was the very big topic and issue that to be need to be discussed, and everyone wants that. What is reclaimed water in layman's term? It is rainwater harvesting. It is recycled wastewater. So the huge proportion, the many people are using reclaimed water, and many people using recycled water, and this is the era of recycled water. I must say that we need to use the recycled water. We don't need to drink recycled water, but there can be the use of recycled water in irrigation. There can be the recycled water in toiletry things. There can be immense full use of recycled water, and that can save our water, that can save our fresh water. So uh, reclaim water, that is rainwater harvesting and recycle wastewater, also allow to reduce scarcity. It ease pressure on groundwater and other natural water bodies. Groundwater recharge happens. It allows water moving from surface water to groundwater, and it's well known and it has been used in this era a lot to prevent water scarcity. So this is a irrigation or rain reclamation system. So this tells you that how the rain water is converted and how it is being used in irrigation, how it is being used for uh, filling the groundwater recharges, and how the recaptured irrigation happened. So how it begins, how the rainwater goes to the pipelines, how the captured rainwater is stored. Then there's the irrigation system, how it's being cleaned, and then it is being sent back. So we can start the ponds. We can start the recharge ponds or reflecting ponds. We can start the campus lakes. We can start this in for irrigation purposes in small campuses and then to a large level. But this reclamation system is possible, and this is being used all across the world, and this is not a new thing. Now, the third point, that is pollution control and better sewage treatment. When I talk about pollution control, it's a very big and vast topic, because how can we control the pollution that was happening from decades, and how we can control it in just one go? It's hard, but it's not impossible, because without proper sanitation the water becomes full of diseases and unsafe to drink. And I would not mention how much proportion or how much percentage of people suffer from water diseases and what type of water disease are they, but everyone knows that. And that is why addressing pollution, measuring and monitoring water quality is essential. Besides, improving the sewage system in spatial areas is another way to prevent water scarcity from becoming any worse. Because when I show you these datas, that untreated water is 70% and treated water is just 30%, and this is the data from our own incredible India. So what are we doing? What is the government doing? Or do we really need to live with the amenities or with the things that government is providing? Or are these things important? If we think that there is free accommodations, free accessibilities to things, do we really need that? I don't think so. We need that, but we need this. We need this ratio that untreated should be 30% and treated should be 70%. And if this thing happens, there will be a whole world change scenario, and just from our country. Now, this is the sewage treatment capacity in urban India. The daily sewage generated is 62,000 million liters, and whereas how much is being treated, and I have specified this as a urban India, because we cannot talk about rural India, because that numbers don't even fit in that screen. That 22,940 million liters only, and that's a very less percentage. The whole other rest water is being spoiling the soil, spoiling the freshwater resources, and spoiling the environment. So this is a very big solution that needs to be happened, at pollution control and better sewage treatment. Last not least, and the most important, is awareness and education, because the last three the government can do, or the researchers or scientists can do. But what awareness and education? is important. It is important not just that we talk about water, we talk about environment or world water day or world earth day. It is not that, like, that's not an awareness, or that's not an education that we share a video on that these days, and we talk about these things on that specific days. That's not a thing we are dealing with. We are dealing with the issue that we need to talk every day, that we need to discuss every day, because education is critical and it is very important to solve the water crisis. In fact, in order to cope with future water scarcity, it is very important and necessary to radically reform all forms of consumption, from individual use to the supply chains of large companies. There should be water management education in every household. We don't need the Swachh Bharat without water. We don't need Swachh Bharat without the education of Swachh Bharat. So that's a very big thing, that if we are living in India or if we are living in any other country, we don't need that amenities which will not last long. If we are getting water, but are we will be getting water, or our coming generations will be getting water? I don't think so. And that's the reality, because that's not true. Because what we are getting, it's not possible that the coming generation will get. So the education for water use and for water management is very important, and what's happening in the world and what's happening in the country, or what's happening in our region, is very important, that school gives this knowledge, colleges give this knowledge. There should be seminars, there should be interactive sessions, there should be, from the very starting, people should know that water is this much important, that there should be a fight against water now when we had water. Because when we don't have, or when we are in the situation like we in China or in Brazil, there is no coming back. We will be facing the water crisis in all our life if we don't start now. And if I am talking about education and awareness, that's so. This is a water initiative by Aman, and initiative is the start of this era only, in which education about water should not be for just one or two people, and should not be just for the people who are interested in water resource management, or those who are from civil or from mechanical or from other branches, or those who are in policy making. No, water initiative is just for the common people and common citizens. And I want everyone to as much spread this water initiative, and as much spread this education, that if 10 people are seeing this, and if this 100 people are seeing this, they should tell more 100 that what's happening in the world. They should share this, that because the more people will get and more people will be introduced that what is happening in the world, it is more important, and it is going to be more swift and more fast, that how the world will change. Because how the world is changing is not in our hands, but how our region changes, how our place is changing, it's in our hands. And we can save our society, we can save our city, because it's not like that, that if if Delhi or if Bangalore, if Kerala, if uh, any North Indian city is using water, and it will affect others. No, everyone has their groundwater storage, everyone has their uh, table, and you will have to save your region, you have to save your city, you have to save your state. You don't have to be scared about what's happening in the world, but you have to make it possible that this thing doesn't comes to you. So now I would be starting with the Q&A, and I will be asking questions. Any questions you have regarding this seminar, or any queries and anything that you need to talk about, we can discuss. The feedback link will be emailed to everyone, and I would like that everyone comments his or her name in the comment box, and how you like the seminar in the comment box, in the chat box. And I will individually read this, and according to this, I can get that how much people join. And then I will be sending the feedback link also, and everyone will be getting the certificate, those who have joined this session. and those who are the viewers. And in the last webinar, there were certificate issues because many people have not given their give feedback in the feedback link, and many people have not shared their feedback. And it was a problem to circulate the certificate to everyone as the mails were coming. But this time, everyone who has joined this session, everyone who was the viewer and who has commented, and the feedback link will be also shared to everyone, and everyone will be getting the certificate. Now, I would be starting with the Q&A. Now, there is a question that how we can implement virtual water valuing in our country. Now, if the people, those who doesn't know what is virtual value, water valuing is the amount of water that is being used in the production of food or in the production of our commodities, which we don't account. That how much water is being used and how much water will be used, and it's a very important thing to look after because when we think that uh, if we are producing rice, if we are producing any meat substance, or if any we are producing any vegetable substance, everything needs water. And how much water they are using in terms of the area, or how in terms of how much water they will be using in that crop in that season depends. And this can be tackled in our country as well, because we have to divide the different areas in which these crops have been grown. If I talk about the example of rice, and if we are using for rice in this particular season 54,000 liters of water, then we need to take the data of that data of particular ratio of time, and we need to take the census out of that, and we need to take the yearly data over the period of time, and then we need to create a system in which all that water logging happens. That And this will be very important, because when we do this, there will be a useful data that is created. Because when we talk about in terms of water valuing, virtual water valuing, so this can happen. We can make these systems, and we can see this is a problem with the education and awareness of the people. If the people know, if the farmers know that they had to do this, they will do this. And as the people are joining the private organization and working with private people, they are taking the note of these things also. So I am trying, and I am working also on a database to create a database, to create a user dashboard in which people from all over the country, all over the world, can log their datas of water resources by their own, what they have the data, and they can work on that, and people seeing that can work on that. There will be a water community in which people will be working from all over the world. If you had the issue, you just post and you will get the solution. That's how things should be. If anyone is having the issue, and if anyone is facing any issue, so just you have to go with it, go with the question, go with your queries, go with the research you are going, and you can get the people from all over the world. That's what user database I am creating, and I will be looking forward. And we can start this virtual valuing of water also, in which we will be accounting all the water resources that were used by the people, by the farmers, by in that particular region, and how much water they have consumed. Because we can take this data from the municipal, we can install the their meters that accounts for the data. If you know that what Delhi Jal Board is working with SPML, and they are using the digital meters in which every drop of water that is taken by the people is being used and it is being translated into a very, very informative and very uh, sequential data in the softwares. There is a city mind software in which these all the data, that how much water is going in which area, which region they are taking, and these all the data can sum up, and we can work with this thing. It's possible in India. Next question is that Bangalore groundwater table has gone down year by year. How do you suggest to maintain groundwater table? See, now they have started that pumping out of groundwater. They have put the uh, stoppage on that, and they have limitized that this much of water only they can pump it out, because if you talk about Bangalore, this was the problem they were facing from a lot of time. People were not understanding this situation, because it's Bangalore is not just as developed. It is a very beautiful city. It's a very beautiful place, but this place was, very uh, developed in a very small time, and the people, those who are living in that region, they were not able to figure out what's happening, and what's happening so much fast, and how everything is changing. So over the time, the government is also looking forward that how new policies and new water management policies, and how economic uh, uh, can, put with the water management and and the policies, new reforms can be formed in Bangalore. And I would suggest that everyone there needs to, there should be water meters installed. There should be a proper water management from now onwards, because this is the time, and there we have people, those who are working and those who are literate, so they can help this community. And that's why I want that the user database, and that's why I want more and more people, those who can work with this thing in all over the world. They don't have to look for the solution on Google, or they don't have to look for the solution on internet. They have the solution in their hand. So that's a very big thing, because water is a necessity, and water is should be available to everyone. So water should not be capitalized. If I think, according to me, that water should be accessible to all, but it should be accessible with proper law and proper reforms and policies, that how they can use it in the most effective way. Because if we just, provide the water, and we don't regulate the water use, so there will always be the issue. And any country or any city or any region can work on this out by putting the meters, water meters, putting the bills, how much water is being used. If that everything that makes it sum up, that how things are going to be used. As water, next question is, as water crisis has yet to reach in the villages in India, what do you suggest the people living in rural area to avoid this crisis in future? See, this is a very good, nice question, but in this question, I would like to tell that water crisis is not yet to reach to rural India. The water crisis was always there in rural India. That if you know the fact that 70% of rural India population don't have the accessibility to fresh water and pipelines. Now also the people go to places, and now also they draw water from pumping wells, and from the they use that water, they go and cover the miles, and they then use that water. As everyone knows, I think that have you heard of Bangladesh, the water crisis that happened in Bangladesh or in Bihar? The groundwater table has arsenic. So people were using without any treatment, and the people start falling sick because of improper management. See, if you have water, and if that water is not safe for drinking, so that means you are in the crisis. We cannot say that if we are boiling the water and we are using it, and we are getting 2 buckets of water every day, is that sufficient? No, because rural India never has the water accessibility as we have, as we are sitting in. cities or in developed cities or in the developing state cities, we always had the water, or we were using water. We are washing our cars, we are washing our roads, we are using that water in our houses. But no, this thing is not as possible in rural India, because when we think about rural India, we are thinking about 70% of India practically, because urban India is very small, and we are always discussing about urban India. But no, when I'm talking about water scarcity issue, I was telling you the points of we can look forward in life in urban India, because where the government will look, and where our things will be, listen, and where the outputs will come, where the government will actually notice the change, where the government will notice the initiative. But when we talk about rural India, who will listen them except us? Will the government will take the initiative? No, because government has never taken that initiative. Because if they had taken, the figures and the stats would not be the same. That the accessibility of water will be more. But no, it's not the scenario. There is no sewage treatment. There is no wastewater treatment happening. There is happening in few regions, but I would count it as negligible because it's not happening actually. So in rural India, we can avoid the crisis by increasing the literacy rate, by awareness, and by increasing the awareness in the people. We can set up the mobile waste management vans and water treatment vans, and that's possible. We can construct them, and there can be the supply of water first. There should be accessibility of water, because there is physical water scarcity in rural India before that. The next question is, if any possibilities to make a water from air in dry areas with lower cost. Yeah, this is a possibility in dry areas also, because there is the water from air has been created. Water from air, I think in I have seen this, that the water can be created from the air, because the air contains the moisture, and air contains the oxygen, and we can create the water from air. And I've seen that in India also they have started creating. There was a setup in Hyderabad, that atmospheric water generator was created. I am not remembering the organization. Maybe it's Aero India. In Aero India, it was shown that how they have generated atmospheric water, and it was a potable water from atmosphere. It can be used for drinking, and in Hyderabad only, that people have set up these generators in schools to try, and it was a free initiative in the starting, but now they are taking some amount, but it's possible that water from the air can be used, and it is being used. If in India only, in Hyderabad, this technology is there, so we can use it all over the world, and it's a very good technology. Sir, as we know, water is important as well as data. How can we combine data and AI in solving water crisis scenario in drinking, irrigation, as well as other purpose? We are already combining data and AI. When we talk about AI, artificial intelligence, uh, first we need to build a setup. We need to tackle the database. We need to handle our all the data that is present. Then only we can have that AI to work on it. See, AI doesn't work on by himself. We are not talking about uh, any movie or any scene or scenarios. We are talking about real life. So AI doesn't work on himself. AI needs humans, and humans need to understand the data first, that how AI will interpret it and how AI will work on it. So when we are talking about combining data and AI in solving water crisis, first we need to understand the water crisis. We need to build the database. We need all the data that is present, and then we need to work on that how this thing will be useful. And I am working on a database. I am working on daily water crisis. I am making uh, a model that is working on daily water. that how Delhi is using the water and how everything is going in Yamuna basin, and how this can be useful. And I am working on a model, and I am creating a model with, and the information I will share with everyone soon. But it's possible, and we are combining data, and we are using AI and softwares and machineries and technology to solve water crisis scenario. Because first we need a data and database, that what's the problem. First we need to understand each region problem, then we need to work at how much and what capacity sewage treatment plant they want, how much management plant they want, and all that thing we need to understand the major core issue. Then then we need to work on that. The feedback link will be shared to everyone, and I just need that everyone just comment their name in the comment box, and like this session if you find it useful. I want everyone to please like this session, and share this session if you think that it will be useful for any other person and it was informative. So please like this session, and please comment on this video your name and what do you like, and I will be sharing a feedback link to everyone, and everyone will be getting a certificate, so you don't need to worry about certificates will be provided. And there will be a session every week on water. It will be related to water. There are so many things, so many topics to cover. As I told in the last seminar, also that there are approx 200 topics I am going to cover, and there is a huge uh, uh, opportunity in water, and I want people to come up with me and join this initiative. One more question I'm going. This is the last question. Why, instead of restoration of lakes, rivers, and other water bodies, desalination and STP are promoted? See, restoration of lakes, rivers, and other water bodies, it's not happening. You cannot say that it's not promoted. There is a rejuvenation of Ganga. There is a rejuvenation of Yamuna going on. There is many river projects are going on. There is Jal Shakti initiative going on by the government. There are many and several restoration of lakes and rivers and other water bodies are going on. And now the government and now the ministry is taking serious actions about that, because now it's an offense, and if you do any industrial waste and promote anything about this water wastage, and you throw any waste in the rivers and anything. But yeah, the projects are going on the restoration of lakes. And why desalination STP are promoted? Because if we talk about desalination and you think about the earth, there is everywhere, there is salinated water, there is everywhere salt water. And we need the technology, we need the very less amount of technology and less expensive technologies in India that can work and to extract the water from the seashores. And because we have plentiful amount of salt water, and we need this desalination technology. And in this See, in this seminar, I was talking about solution for water scarcity, and I was not discussing about restoration of lakes, rivers, and other water bodies. And we will be discussing about restoration of lakes, rivers, and water bodies. But when I am talking about reclaimed water, when I am talking about desalination STP, we are helping the water scarcity. And when there will be more groundwater, there will be a flow generated. When we will be using more STP water or reclaimed water, there will be a flow in groundwater. And as you know that when the groundwater flows, when it's not just being used, and when there is a flow of groundwater, when there is an increase in groundwater, so there will be always the surface water flow will increase. There will be rivers, there will be a climatic change. Because as the water increases in groundwater, there will be the increase in the water bodies that was arid, that was not being used, or that's the water has been depleted in that. So with the use of the increase in reclaimed water or recycled water and with the management of water, there will be at one point the water bodies and lakes and rivers will rejuvenate, and there are projects going on. So I think there are no more questions, and all the questions, and you can always in dry areas the water content present in see, we there is one the comment that the water content present in air is also very less, so the process won't be efficient. It's true that in some places this technique doesn't works, but there is always the solution to a problem. We need to study the area. We need to study. If you are saying me that there is no lake, there is no groundwater, or there is no glass of water, and you just have to drink the water. That's not possible. We need to analyze the situation. We need to analyze the area. We need to analyze the air. If you are considering about generating water on the air, then we need to work on that. And maybe the people are working on that. If maybe I don't know about it, but there is always the possibility to work and to find the solution. And I will be getting and I will be giving you the more news about what the people are doing in and across the world. And I would like you to please, if you have any idea and if you want to know about many things, then you can just contact me. And in the feedback link, always you can share your contact details, and I will be sharing with everyone the newsletter also, in which the what's happening in the world and what is going to happen, what things are going in and across the world, so that you also get the information about what's happening in our country and in the world about water. The feedback link will be shared to everyone, not in this chat. I am not sharing this in this chat, but I will be sharing a feedback link to everyone on their emails, and everyone will be getting certificate. I just want that everyone just comment on the uh, chat your feedback and just like the video, and I will be giving you everyone in a day or two. Everyone will be getting a certificate. You don't need to worry about certificates. So feedback link will be circulated on the emails, maybe in an hour or two, and everyone who has attended the seminar and everyone who was the part of the seminar is very will be getting the certificate. You need not worry. Just I will be mailing everyone uh, the feedback link, and everyone will be getting the certificate in a day or two. So you need not worry about certificates. And the anyone can if anyone don't find the certificates, and if anyone has any problem, you can mail me or contact me on my WhatsApp. That link will be shared. The link was shared in the email. So next webinar will be on water economics and policy making. This is a very good topic and very important topic, and very less people know about it. So this is going to a very informative session on economics and policy making. So I'm sure that you will be loving this. Thank you everyone for watching this session, and please take a minute and like and share this video, this seminar, and if you like anything about this session, please comment. Thank you everyone.